Number 8, general business. 8A, consideration of approval of resolution 2014-061, providing for the issuance and sale of general obligation improvement bonds, series 2014A, pledging for the securities thereof, special assessments, and levying a tax for payment thereof. Mike Bubani, David Brown Associates will be present to share the results of the bond sale as concluded earlier. Welcome, Mr. Bubani.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for putting me at the top of the agenda. I do have a second meeting in Chatfield tonight, so I appreciate the accommodation in that regard, staff and so forth, putting the agendas together. If you recall, a month ago I was here and I provided recommendations in terms of selling bonds. How big should the bonds be? What should the term be? What should the method of sale be? And if you also recall, the discussion surrounded around doing a negotiated sale versus a competitive sale. Just because we knew there were some challenges in our finances that we think that a third party would misconstrue. They don't understand, or it would be hard for them to understand that we have FEMA funds coming back, that we're reimbursing engineering funds that have been expensed, and that the city probably within 12 months will be $1.1 million to the better. So in order to avoid any confusion with that, we went with the negotiated sale. That would allow us to tell our story in sort of a face-to-face format with a potential purchaser. The purchaser, the one I decided to deal with, was Paul Donna at Robert W. Baird. Paul Donna used to be with Northland Securities, who has in the past purchased some of Rushford's debt, so he's familiar with you. In fact, Paul had a history with Steve in a previous community as well, so he was well known to us, both Steve and I, as well as having done some business in Rushford before. Subsequent to that meeting, the council gave approval to move forward and start that process. Subsequent to that, Steve and I met for, I suppose, 2 or 3 hours with Mr. Donna. Went through the bond issue, the finances, all the stuff that we wanted him to know. Paul went back and did some preliminary pricing for us. There was a little disagreement during the early stages in terms of compensation for his firm. We've got that back down to where we think it's fair. And tonight, I'm here to present results, and I think we did well. And so I have some handouts if the mayor.
Go ahead, sir.
Just take one for yourself and pass that around. I hope I made enough copies here. Thought I did.
I got electronic. Oh, I got it.
Oh, you got to. Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought I made enough. Okay. And then I can leave mine for the public afterwards. Okay, so what you're looking at there on the front sheet is the actual proposal. The point of disagreement that we kind of had to work around was, you see the underwriter's discount there at 1.5%. Originally, the purchaser was trying to get 2% on the deal, saying that this is a really tough sell, and we're going to have to work harder. And indeed, there's been other bond sales that have been sold competitively recently where 1.5% has been the compensation. But nevertheless, I didn't feel like it was that much harder. He's going to go, probably to the same folks that bought before and this sort of thing. So they've agreed to the 1.5%. Down below, you'll see the coupon rates that would get assigned to all the various principal payments. If you recall, we reduced the overall principal by $50,000 to keep our GO debt per capita under the $6,000 per year policy. We took that $50,000 basically out of the contingency amount at the top. Under sources of funds, note there's a $2,824 premium. What is that? The underwriter turned around and sold some of these bonds for more than their par amount. The additional profit, they did not take that profit. They are giving that profit back to us to sort through the deal. And why do we have that coming back? And that has to do with the coupon rates that certain purchasers agreed to. If it's above market or below market, they either jam money back in or take money out. But in this case, they put money back in. So over on the far right, halfway up the page, you'll see a net effective rate of let's call it 85%. And my original spreadsheet I showed you was 3.79%. So we're about 5-6 basis points off of what I had projected. Down below in my scribbling, you'll see the 10-year T-bill from a month ago has gone up about 10 basis points. Now, there's not a direct correlation between a T-bill and muni bonds, but it just gives you an indication that the market has moved upward a little bit. So I felt that the coupon rates being offered were fair. On the left, you'll see a comment, in, also in my chicken scratch writing, that there was a recent sale, AA plus competitive sale with a net effective interest rate of 3.22%. That sale is attached from the subscription service we applied to. That bond issue also goes to 2035. Now, your bonds are unrated, so how do we flush out whether we got a fair deal or not? Generally, every notch of a rating is 10 to 15 basis points. So if we go from AA plus to AA, that's, let's say 15 basis points. AA to AA minus, that's 30 basis points. AA minus to A plus, that's 45. And then A plus to A, which is where you're at now, that'd be 60 basis points. Or if you feel like it's 10 basis points difference and it'd be 40, let's call it between 40 to 60 basis points off of AA plus. And if you can see their net effective rate, 3.22 versus ours at 3.85, we are close to an A, or within a quarter point of an A at worst. Okay, I didn't have an A rating, A-rated sale that I could pull anytime recent that I could show you, so I had to use this AA plus and kind of just work backwards. So we feel like it's a very fair deal. We feel like he worked hard for us, and why don't I stop there? See if there's any questions.
And it's reoffering the premium. Why is that showing up above here?
Because it's for us. If I put it up above, it would be an expense, and it's not an expense to us. It's basically a payback to us.
But the bottom line comes to the same figure.
Correct. But if it was up above in the uses, that would count as an added expense. Whereas what's happened here is, earlier when I did the original schedule, maybe this would have been easier. From a month ago, you would have seen construction fund earnings, which I use basically as a rounding number. There was a positive number there. I've completely taken that out because of the reoffering premium, and that means when you put all this money in your debt service fund, it is going to earn interest as you're making payments to the contractor. We're actually going to come out further ahead than this even says. So it was an offset.
Any questions for Mike?
So again, in your opinion, the price is right, the interest rate's about where we ought to consider it being the right number?
I absolutely think this is a good deal for the city, based on your finances, the unknowns we were dealing with in terms of, I was a bit concerned in terms of the negotiation and the financing and so forth in your audit, with the low cash reserves and so forth. So to come out here somewhere in the realm of an A-rated scale, I absolutely think this is a good deal.
Any questions from council?
So we come back with a 3.7.
The 3.791 is what I had projected a month ago. And the 3.85, let's just round up, 3.85 in bold is what this actually is, if you were to kind of mush together all the interest expense.